Get Up Nation. My name is Ben Biddick. I am the creator and host of the Get Up Nation podcast, where I serve individuals, organizations, and societies to develop and sustain resilience and perseverance. I'm the co-author of Get Up, The Art of Perseverance, with former Major League Baseball player and CEO of Luron Living, Adam Greenberg. The Get Up Nation podcast is brought to you in partnership with GotYourSixCoffee.com, where Navy veteran Eric Hadley is committed to serving first responders, veterans, and their families through a variety of nonprofit organizations. No stranger to adversity, Eric has fused necessity of coffee with his passion for public service. You're already purchasing coffee. Why not empower your coffee with purpose? Why not purchase coffee that not only has your six, but also has the backs of those who don a uniform of service for our communities and great country? Learn more about Eric and his freshly roasted, award-winning coffee at GotYourSixCoffee.com. Welcome to this episode of the Get Up Nation podcast. Recently, I had the honor and privilege of speaking with Daryl Stern. Daryl is a LinkedIn top voice. He's a digital marketing Jedi who builds $1 million brands through strategic video content marketing. On his LinkedIn account, he writes, "I've seen it all, and I've helped people and businesses like yours thrive beyond expectations. Influence to me is not just a lot of followers on Instagram, but being a philosopher for our time, being a true thought leader for our age. I am the world's leading digital marketing Jedi, moving my philosophy into action, using theater and performance to market hope, breaking through barriers and levels to go higher and higher." Today, I have the honor of welcoming Daryl Stern to Get Up Nation. Daryl, welcome to the show.
Ben, I am so glad to be here, and I'm really excited because we're going to give some people, your listeners here, valuable tools to get up and do even more using their talents and gifts.
Oh, that's great. So not only are you amazing at what you do, but you are also the voice of Scooter Computer on ABC's Schoolhouse Rock.
Very, very true. Yeah. So I was a kid actor growing up. I grew up in New York and New Jersey. I had a talent agent, a manager in New York. So after junior high and high school, my dad would race me into New York City and drive around the block in Manhattan, and I would run up to do the audition. So if you don't know the history of Schoolhouse Rock, back in the 70s and 80s, there was a law saying that, hey, if you were going to show Saturday morning cartoons and entertain kids and then have TV commercials that sold breakfast cereal and Star Wars toys, you also had to put in a little bit of education. So Newell and Huey was a advertising firm in New York, and they said, okay, well, we're gonna come up with this, and they called it Schoolhouse Rock. There's a lot of famous ones called I'm Just a Bill, Interplanet Janet, 3 is the Magic Number. Those of us who grew up in the 70s and 80s might remember this, but in 1983, something fun was happening, and it was called The Computer. And the computer was starting to come out, the Apple IIe, and come into our homes. So they made some cartoons. It's the only series of Schoolhouse Rock that has the same recurring characters in it. So I played the voice of the little boy named Scooter Computer, who comes home to find this marvelous machine that can compute and pay the bills and all this magical stuff. And his name is Mr. Chips. So pretty much I introduced kids to computers, and the rest is history. Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. So as you were growing up here, what led you to this line of work? How did you develop such a care for people? How did you develop this awareness that people have extreme value, that people are what life is about? And how did you find this craft of video to help them with their performance and expand their business and be successful?
Well, the first part was my father was a philosophy professor. So I'm 3, 4, 5 years old, and I'm, taken to his college philosophy class, and I'm hearing, Plato and Socrates and utopian society and business ethics and words have meaning and etymology and Latin and all of this. So I always carried that part with me throughout my life, that there's a right way to do things. My father also said, there are certain things, son, that they can never take away from you, which is your education, your raw talent, what you're good at, and your gifts, the things that you are gifted at. So today, in this crazy time where some might be looking and saying this is not a prosperous time, what my father said is you always have prosperity. You are always prosperous because you always have your talent, your gifts, and your education. No one can take that away from you. So as the internet developed, as we got toward 2000, 2005, YouTube comes out, 2010, we're talking about inbound marketing, then, Facebook and the social media in 2009, and then into live broadcasting in 2016. What I came to realize was the thing that I put behind me, which was theater and acting and theater directing. I actually realized that that's what I really do. I am a theater director. So when people ask me, well, do you do ClickFunnels and Facebook ads and SEO and, all the technical stuff? I say, yeah, those are tools. But what we honestly want to do is put on a big, huge theatrical production that's going to let people know that you are the answer to the problem that they've been searching for.
I see. Yeah. And video is exploding right now. And with all of the different formats and platforms that are out there, it's important to have video content that gets people's attention, that helps them figure out how to solve their problems, to stand out. So in the expertise that you have, the profound expertise that you have in this, you help people stand out. You help people solve problems. You do this in a way that people can't look away from. They get engaged by you. How are you so magical?
Well, two parts of that, Ben, are the first part is 99% of the results from all of this media marketing is in the performance, is in how enthusiastic you are on camera and how well you can, pretend that you're talking to a singular person that can have where a billion people can have that same experience and where you come alive. So going back to the philosophy, I always say, what if you could wake up in the joy of knowing that you are a gift to the world and there are things left that you still need to show them, that you need to teach them. Now, in a practical sense, what happened in 2016 when Snapchat came out and all the kids were on Snapchat, I got on there and I was in Snapchat and I'm talking to a young gentleman and I asked him, he's doing some game show, he's doing some fun, entertaining stuff, just like show business. And I said, what are you doing? And he says to me, are you making a living? What are you doing? And he goes, yeah, I'm a Snapchat content creator. So at this point, I'm in my mid-40s, Ben, and I said, okay, it's time for me to start planning my retirement. I'm too old for this stuff. Like, this is crazy. But then what I realized is, what if you could be an expert at, let's say, fixing cars or being a chiropractor or being a doctor or being a funeral director or being a business coach or an author or a public speaker, and do the same thing where we're tapping into your knowledge and your gifts and making it entertaining, while at the same time, what I did with my local auto mechanic back in 2016 was I had the brilliant epiphany of, let's take these videos and transcribe them and then do what we call on-page or interlinking SEO or search engine optimization on the writing. Now, there's an old expression that says, hey, Ben wrote the book on rising up, right? If you want to really get in the mode where you're rising up, you need the tools and the things that Ben talks about in his book and on his podcast, right? He wrote the book on that. Like, that's the expression. So literally what we're doing, Ben, by pulling the content out of you, well, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's another story? Maybe you were 5 years old and you got pushed down by a bully and you got back up, right? That was the first time that you remember literally like rising up. We tie that into your brand and your story and your message so that, but at the same time, we're doing this technical stuff with transcribing it and SEOing it and optimizing it and putting the right tags into YouTube and all these other different things that then are going to make it get your message to be seen by more people. What else? What's next? Answer me another one. This is fun.
Well, that's great because it is a mystery. People recognize that all of these platforms of media can be profoundly used to do amazing good in people's lives, to really, certainly there are a lot of negative things that can be done with them, but on the same side, the amount of potential for the positive things that can happen with them, even as we look at COVID-19 and our entire nation within 1 week's time, within a couple weeks of time, suddenly all business and all commerce is suddenly, maybe not all of it, but a majority of it is being done via video chat, via video technology. So we find ourselves suddenly able to, when we're placed under stress, to make an adjustment and be able to use the tools that are there. And maybe people have not realized the power of what has been there for many years, and just starting to realize, look what could be happening here. So for the people who are aware of this beforehand, as building that content, building those connections online, and trying to create media that inspires people, there's a lot of technological work that goes into that, in addition to trying to make yourself appealing or engaging. And so I love hearing about your technical expertise that helps people, as well as the theatrical side of it, where you're helping people to actually communicate who they are, what their solution is, and so that they can have an invigorating and satisfying life, so that they can use this internet technology to grow together with people, to offer solutions, to become profitable. It's just an exciting time. And I would love your insights into, what is happening with video as a result of COVID-19 and so many businesses suddenly being forced to use video to conduct business.
Well, this is no joking matter, but it's really funny because I used to do stand-up comedy in the '90s, and people ask me, "Do you still do comedy?" And I reply, "Every single day." So the kind of funny part about all the social distancing and all that is I've sat in front of a computer by myself, creating things on the internet without hardly any type of a social life or anything like that for the past 25 years. So I just make a joke and go, well, now the rest of the world gets to live how I've been living, lonely by myself working on the computer. Now the rest of you get to see it. So, I mean, the answer to the question is a couple-fold. The auto mechanic that I worked with for 4 years now has 250 of these YouTube videos out, fully transcribed, tens of thousands of posts on his Google Maps, which is another social network no one talks about. And he literally has become, as demonstrated by this, COVID proof. In other words, his business didn't shut down. It didn't slow down. He's still fixing cars. His entire crew is fixing cars. In fact, they just built and launched an even bigger building for his business. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First, consistency and persistence. When we're talking about organic growth and marketing, SEO and YouTube channel growth and all the other things that go into this, consistency and persistence pays off. Now, consistency is understanding that we're going to pick a lane. This is what you do. One of the biggest problems that so many people have is we're talking too much in big generality. I'm a business coach that helps entrepreneurs succeed to a higher level. Great. That's a bumper sticker that I could put on 500,000 other LinkedIn profiles, right? You've seen them. Yeah, everybody's saying the same thing about themselves. So let's go down a level deeper. If you go to autorepairdenvercolorado.com, I literally created Saul's 60 landing pages, one for each and every type of car that there is. So each one locally optimized. Now, what I call those is situational avatars. So if everybody's got a pen and a piece of paper, we're going to go Sternstorming. Sternstorming came about 5 years ago. I was writing for a client, and he said to me, "You sound like me. How are you doing that?" Literally, Ben. He was like, as I would get to know you, I could become Ben. Like, I would write it like you. I would write the copy for you, and then you would say, "Wow, that sounds like me." So that's when it clicked, and I said to myself, I'm an actor. In other words, that's how I do that. I can imitate you, if that makes any sense. Like, I can get into your head, see how you behave, but then also weave in dramatic writing into that. So with, the auto mechanic, so going back and forth, I don't want to jump around too much, but consistency is staying on a message. In other words, pick a lane and stick with that lane. If you're a coach and you're divorced and you coach men, then be that leading coach for divorced men. In other words, stop saying you're just a coach for men, right? So that's what I pull when I do Sternstorming. I go deep through people's lives and I ask, well, what are the moments in your life when, you learn that valuable lesson, George Washington chopped down the cherry tree, things like that are still with you today. So in my case, my dad when Scooby-Doo came out and Valley Girls in the 80s, it was like, Ben, it's super cool, and my dad would slam his hand down on the table and say, it's not like, it is. It either is or it isn't something. Okay. The other magic one is, hey, Ben, you know what I'm doing, Ben, and then what the response to that is, no, I don't know. So take an acting class, take a public speaking class, take a stand-up comedy class, take an improv comedy class. Are you hearing what I'm saying? In other words, there's more to this than, well, I've just got to make a lot of videos or a funnel or a blog and all of that. Study that. So we'll get it. I want to get into the 4 types of media in a bit. But I would ask you, Ben, when was the first time that you rose up in your life? Like, when do you remember was a time when you literally rose up?
Let's see. Well, there have been numerous challenges. And one thing that I kind of noticed also was where when I had something good, noticing someone else not having it and seeing them be down. And that was troubling. So what I wanted to do was oftentimes take the hand of that person and get them up. So where I felt I had been given so much, I noticed that people did not have as much as I had been given. And I felt that it was unfair. And so largely what I wanted to do was help someone up. I guess in my life, then I think there was a lot of times where I got knocked down when that was my focus because of the cruelty in the world to a certain extent of many people saying, well, why are you helping someone up? Why are you helping them? Don't they deserve what they get? Why do you care so much about them? And it was largely about the fact that I could empathize with them. And,
I don't know. You're telling me right now. See? Okay, so I'm gonna interrupt you for a second, babe, because here it is. Here's the problem it's all about the vernacular. So instead of describing yourself in the third person, in other words, this happened, I think there were times when this happened, I want you to go down and get out a notebook and a pen and say, when I was 7, this happened, and boom. I want you to write down the first time when you were 11, when you noticed that there was maybe someone in your school that had lust in you, and you said, wow, maybe, this is someone I want to friend in. I want to do something for this person. I care about this person. I see that they have lust than me. Now, I'm making this up, Ben. You know what I'm saying? But be specific and actually be back in that moment and story tell what actually happened in that. Then the conclusion to that is, well, there's 2 conclusions. One is, then you're just demonstrating your character rather than talking about it, right? Like, I'm a digital marketing Jedi. Every time I see something, I tap into the force and I feel the essence of the language that we need to use and blah, 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 blah. That's not great content marketing. You with me? Because it's crucial that everybody gets a difference. The one thing that I have been told as I do my Stern Storming sessions, I even run a $7 a month mastermind group where I pull people in. We have people on there from all over the world. We have a lot of fun. And I'll literally just coach people on that shift over in, again, the vernacular and the language that they're using. So, in other words, I'll give you an example. Shakespeare, okay? Hamlet is there, and he says, to be or not to be? That is the question. What is he doing in that moment? Well, the world has collapsed around himself. He's totally screwed by everything that's going on in the kingdom. So he literally is asking himself, he's self-monologuing, and he's talking to himself, and he's asking himself, should he exist to be or not to be? Should he die? In other words, should he commit suicide? Should he get rid of himself? But in that dramatic monologue, right, in that moment, the audience is with him. He's talking to himself, but we are wrapped up in this moment as bearing witness to his struggle that he is having within himself. So it's kind of like, how can we make your life into these tidbits that are, dramatic monologues and those kind of things? Because when you did that, if you said, oh my God, so here's the other funny thing that happens, Ben. It's people say to me, Well, my gosh, there's like 100 different times that I rose up when I was a kid. Or there's 1,000 different stories I could tell about that. I say, good, write them all down, then you'll be an influencer.
Yep, that's amazing.
So to divide this up, okay, so you have a clear picture of this too. Because I love when I get up, I do live Sternstoning with the host. I want you to do better, even better than you are now. I want this to get out to more people. So there are 4 types of media. One is inbound, okay? So inbound, otherwise known as now landing pages or funnels, right? Marketing that goes on that landing page. The point of inbound marketing is to give people hope. So I want all of your listeners to take out a pen and a piece of paper, and you too, Ben, and you say this. The first sentence in this 90-second video that's going to drive all of the traffic and, clients says this. Are you frustrated? Are you upset? Are you scared? Are you fed up? So you're talking to the camera and you're talking to that singular person out there. I would say, I'm going to make one up as we go along. I'm going to do a little improvisational marketing. So are you tired of being put down? Are you tired of all the negativity? Are you tired of everyone just making you feel as if you should go down? Just be sad, be depressed. Then the next one is, do you hope or do you wish? Do you wish that there was a podcast and a book and a movement that you could join where you would see how people are rising up and you would gain the tools to rise up every day so you would never, ever, ever, despite what's going on in the world, feel that you were down, and so that you could always rise up in the joy of all the gifts and wonderful things you have. Then the next statement is the punch them in the gut statement. And that's where you go, that if you don't. So I'm gonna make this funny. That if you don't listen to Ben's Rise Up podcast, you're just going to always be down. And hey, if you want to live the rest of your life down, that's fine. There's not much else we can do about it if that's the way you want to live your life. So that's a little bit where I call it the punch them in the gut statement, because literally that's what it is. It's like, you know that if you don't do anything about this, nothing's going to change. Okay, you ready for the big punchline? Are you ready for the big thing, the big ending, Ben?
Yep.
So the last statement is where you slow down. One of the biggest, most powerful words in dramatic writing is the word pause. Here's how you do this with the pause. What if you could listen to a powerful podcast that would rise you up in every single episode by giving you both the tools, the inspiration, and the knowledge to know that you are not alone and that every single day you have the power to rise up. Get it? So I slow down, right? I slow down, right? I really take these phrases and I pause, because in anything, you've seen this in the movies, right? The ta-da, right? And they freeze, they kind of pause, and you say, like, they give you a moment to catch your breath or to burst out into tears or to feel that hope. In theater, we have the fourth wall. I'm on stage, there's 3 walls behind me, and then there's a fourth wall, which is the invisible wall between me and the audience. There's a fourth wall in digital video marketing as well. It's that fourth wall between my camera phone all the way out through the video, through the internet, and then onto, let's say, your LinkedIn post or your YouTube channel video or Facebook video or whatever. I've got to reach through all of that and get out through all of that and into the customer or the potential lead or the whatever, their heart, and make them feel something. There's hints to this all around. Look on Facebook. What does it say? They just added a care button. So there's like, love, angry, sad, wow, and care now. So if those are all emotional reactions, would you agree, Ben?
I would.
Okay, so if you take out the social for a second, you've got 2 words left: media and marketing. Okay, media could be memes, but it could also be great video. To me, marketing is staying visible to your target market, right? Keeping them talking to you. And social actually comes from a Latin word meaning ally. Now, I'm not a genius. I just Wikipedia this one day because my father taught me etymology. Go study where the words come from. So there was a city-state in ancient Rome called Socii, okay, that had an alliance, like the TV show Survivor, with another city-state while they were all fighting. It'd be like, today it'd be like, I don't know, Denver County fighting with Morris County or whatever, nearby. Everything was kind of scaled down. But so now social means alliances. Okay, so just by defining the words, we get create great media. That's your target market, divorced men between the age of 56 and 70 who actually lost everything in the divorce. They lost all their money and all their possessions. Like, we're going to get really specific, right, about that situation that they're in. So create media that would make them happy, that they would care about, that would make them sad. You understanding what I'm doing? I'm reverse engineering into it. The final step, because everybody wants to talk about the bleeping social media right away with me. And I'm just like, that's not the point. So the 4 types of media are inbound, content marketing, which is literally you teaching and demonstrating what you know. Then comes social media marketing, which is putting that media out on social media platforms. Marketing is the art of starting meaningful conversations. So I'm going to start a conversation right now. Ben, how long have you been doing this amazing podcast?
Almost 3 years.
Great. What did I do? I just started a conversation by asking you a
question.
Exactly. So ask questions. In other words, don't just post your stuff. Me, I. Thank you for sharing, Ben. I guess you think you're great today. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying? Like, ask a question. Do you guys feel the same way? Which episode of my podcast is your favorite? What guests would you like me to have on your podcast? Tell me, how have you risen up this week? Right? Or how psyched are you guys to rise up this week? Now you're getting a conversation, which they're calling engagement. I'm already divorced. I'm not getting anybody. I'm not having any engagements anytime soon. I don't like that word for that because that's not the right word. It's conversation. Okay. Got it, Ben?
Yep, got it.
So that's all. To me, it's a performance. And the other part, the last part of media is something that we would call social networking media. Now, I worked with a real estate agent. Her name is Faith Young. She wrote a book called What Would Faith Do? She lives in total abundance, and she will handwrite out 45 to 5,500 Christmas cards every year to all of her contacts that she ever met in her database and beyond. And it takes her about 2.5 months, by the way. She starts in October writing out all these Christmas cards. And then her busiest day is April 1st. So we shot with her Christmas Eve of 2014, 96 videos. These are what the videos were. Happy birthday, happy Mother's Day, happy Veterans Day, happy Flag Day, happy Valentine's Day, happy Halloween. Some media is just for social networking. And and sometimes one of the things too is I had my mastermind last night or Wednesday, and I had a gentleman on there who I just met. I invited him in, and all he started doing right away was pitching. Right? Well, this is my program. This is what my program's about, and this would be good for the people in this group. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. One of these pitchers, right? They got to get right there on the mound. They got to start pitching right away. Here's a good one to just go around and ask, right? And you can have a VA do this. You can do it. You just go around to every single contact, all these LinkedIn people, all that. And you just say, hey, Ben, what's new and exciting in your world today? And when you have a lead and you have someone that talks to you and you set up that Zoom call, right, to do that, discovery call, that assessment, just have a conversation and listen. And you'll go so much further. But I will tell you that I'm celebrating right now because I just got completely out of debt. In other words, the only thing I have is a car payment, a phone payment, and rent of my apartment. And I've really been moving forward and plunging forward. And one of the key reasons, and what I will give your listeners too, and you too as a final nugget, is be in the present. Look at all the people that you get to serve today and be joyful about the opportunity that you have today to do what you get to do today. Replace the word have to. Oh God, I have to do this. I have to upload more videos. Oh God, I have to do a blog today. I just have to. With get. I get to do a blog today. I get to message 100 more people and ask them how their day was, right? I get to post this video and I get to ask everybody, how many dogs they have. I don't know. I hate dogs. I like cats. That was a bad example, Ben. I screwed it up at the end. But I lost it. I was running out of breath and I just thought about dogs. So, the funny thing is, on all the dating apps here in Denver, it's a single lady, right, in the mountains with a giant dog, and I'm allergic to dogs. And I'm swiping left constantly out here, man. How do help me rise up?
Oh yeah, it's, I guess, Claritin.
They all have on their thing too, outdoor enthusiasts. So I put on mine, indoor enthusiasts. You want to play Xbox and we can, watch some Netflix? Because you want to go hiking up the mountain? Can I take my car? I mean, I'll meet you at the top of the hill, but my Lord.
You're amazing. And I appreciate you bringing your expertise here. What else would you like to share? Is there anything that you think Get Up Nation needs to know or hear about?
Well, I am always here to teach everybody if anybody wants any kind of advice or anything like that, at the website Storming, which is my patented little methodology system. I literally made that into a little mini funnel where when you put in your email and your name, I send you my entire $1,000 online class. I used to sell it, for $1,000 and all this. And now I just give it away to everybody because I want everybody to just learn the basics of the technology. It's not that hard. It's like studying an 8-step process on how to do these videos a little better and how to get them onto YouTube the right way and how to look at LinkedIn and these other platforms. So if you sign up, I send you the entire online course and then you can schedule some time to just hang out with me and we'll just, I just love helping people. My parents were educators and I see myself not as an entrepreneur. That was another big breakthrough for me. It's like, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I love teaching people. I also really, really love theater. And when you really, really get at the heart of what makes something really emotionally moving in the performance of it, and you can be a really great actor playing the role of yourself on YouTube, the world opens up to you. One thing that people then argue with me about then is they say, oh, well, that's not authentic. I don't want to be on authentic. It's not. It's very authentic. It's you being it's you really, really, really telling the truth about yourself, but architecting it just like a theatrical monologue. Here's a fun one. So I went to the Globe Theatre in England. I know we're wrapping it. I know we got to go soon, but I'm at the Globe Theatre and it says, Shakespeare's, I don't know what it is, like 400th anniversary. And I sat there and I said, what if 400 years from now, Ben, your podcast would still be listened to, right? How can we write the script and make the format and do the drama and make it so artistic and beautiful and emotionally moving and really serve and get these people to really have the tools to rise up, that centuries from now, your podcast will be at the center of the philosophy of our entire world. That's the kind of marketing that I want to do. That's the goal that I want to have. It goes even beyond this living your legacy or leaving your legacy. It's how can we really make this so that it's so well put together that it stands the test of time and it will be here long after we're gone.
That is a beautiful thing. Daryl, it's been such a pleasure to talk with you today. My mind has been blown about six times. I really encourage everyone that's listening to this to learn more about Daryl, to go to his websites. We're going to get those and we'll make sure those are in the show notes here so that people can access them right away. And Daryl, I always end the show with 6 questions to help my listeners understand the why within my phenomenal guests. Can you run through these 6 quick questions with me?
Very, very quickly. Yes, sir.
Who are you thankful for today?
I'm thankful for my parents. I lost them too soon, but they gave me the tools to live an amazing life.
And now that we've covered who you're thankful for today, what are you thankful for today?
I'm thankful right now that I get to help more people rise up with you on this amazing podcast. I mean, I want to be in the present and say I'm overjoyed at this opportunity that I have right here in the now.
How do you fuel the fire within you?
I fuel the fire within me because from study and self-study and meditation. Go get the book and the audiobook, Taming Your Gremlin. You can contact me to figure out why, but it's amazing.
What is one thing adversity taught you to value?
that time heals all wounds. That if you are in the middle of a lot of stress and loss in your life right now, give it 15 years. I know that sounds funny to say that out loud, but just stay with us and just exist. As mammals, we have 3 jobs: eat, sleep, and poop. We do that for a certain length of time and then we expire. I just gave you the basic essence of human life. That's all you really need to do, right? So just stick around with us a while. Maybe the world seems dark, maybe you're lost, but just stick around and just let some time pass by and everything will get better. I 100% guarantee it, or your money back.
What are you doing today you may have never thought you could?
Today, I am working with more amazing, different types of people and companies that I ever imagined before.
And what will you do tomorrow that you may have never thought you could?
Tomorrow, I am probably going to take a drive down and explore more of the beautiful scenery and the beautiful landscape of Colorado around me.
Excellent. Daryl, how can people learn more about you and your amazing work?
Sure. You can follow me all over the place at Stern Storming. You can put in the hashtag GetStern. That's GETSTERN on YouTube and do a search. You'll see all of the amazing media we've been creating. And you can check out more of what I do at sternmarketingacademy.com, and also get all the free gifts that I have for you guys at sternstorming.com.
Excellent. Thank you, sir, so much. It's been so great to talk with you. I'll get this out as soon as I can, and I'll send you links. I look forward to keeping in touch in the future, and if there's anything I can do to help you meet any of your goals, let me know.
Rise up, my friends. You are always a gift to the world.